Maybe, who knows? Alright, go on blank screen now. Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into Wowhead Weekly number 122. Of course, we got a bunch of new news about 7.25, stuff going on in live servers, Tomb of Sargeras, all sorts of exciting things. But before we get into all that, I would like to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead site manager, Perculia.
Hey everyone, really excited to be doing this show today. Before we start, we have a giveaway going on for our Twitch chat. It is for a World of Warcraft Chronicle Volume 2 book. The keyword is one word, WoW Books. And yeah, let's get on with the show. Big PTR news this week. It's very raid intensive.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the PTR this week. I think, of course, the big thing is that Tomb of Sargeras testing has taken place, and even Heroic killed Jaden. I'm going to put up a screen that includes a bunch of screenshots of the bosses from Tomb of Sargeras while we talk about it a little, and then we'll actually be able to watch... Ooh, that's the video. And then we'll actually be able to watch this little RP video, but I'll put up a spoiler tag so that doesn't get ruined for anybody.
Yeah. So we learned that it actually opens normal on June 20th, and then that means Mythic is the week after, and then all the raids are staggered, so the final wing of LFR is in August. So if that's on the 20th, then probably, 725 is coming, probably the week before, because that's when the PvP season ends.
So you think that the PvP season is going to end on the same day that 725 comes out?
Yeah, because, I mean, it's June 2nd now, and they're not going to do 725 the day of the raid, because, that would seem really buggy.
Yeah.
So we only have the 6th or the 13th, and, the 6th seems, way too soon. The PTR is not even a release candidate.
You don't think it would be, the 20th? The week after?
Well, it would just be that, I mean, if it was on the 20th and the raid is opening on the 20th, and I think it would be a little too...
Oh, that's a lot. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
This all seems kind of squished, and I wonder if that is intentional.
Oh.
Because usually when it comes to the PvP season ending, it ends a little bit before the actual patch comes out.
Yeah.
So but I guess it makes sense if they're waiting another week for the raid.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they were able to separate PvP seasons from new PTRs, so they have more flexibility now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think, they've always said that Tomb is coming mid to late June, and, we're getting, we're in June now, so it's not a surprise that it's coming in a few weeks.
Yeah, I guess it feels like we've been waiting for so long, and now it's so close. It's so close, so I'm excited. Do you want to talk a little bit about the guides first, or do you want me to put the video up first?
You can show the video first. But yeah, what Panzer will be showing is Hero Kill Jaden was finally tested, and we took a video of the little RP that happens before the encounter actually starts.
Yeah, and this does happen before, but I am going to put a spoiler tag up for anybody who doesn't want to be spoiled. So that's going to go up now, but you've been warned. You can come back when the spoiler tag is gone.
You hunted your own people, chasing us across the stars! Never again! It was you who lacked vision, who refused to see the truth of the Legion's inevitable victory. You lost faith in the light! Together, we could have resisted Sargeras and saved our world! Did the light save your son? Was it faith that shone in Rakisha's eyes as they closed for the final time? Or was it hatred for the father who abandoned him? And now your impotent fury has drawn your allies to their doom. Watch as my infinite army slaughters them all! No! You will not divide us, deceiver. I will fight by their side, and they by mine. Together, we will end your crusade!
Did you mute yourself? I can't hear you. There we are.
I hadn't said anything yet. Right. My bad. But so my thoughts on all that. I wanted to give it a second so that I could take the spoiler tag down and nobody would really miss anything. But my thoughts, just looking at it, I had it muted because I know it's not super spoilery, but I didn't want to like be too spoilery for myself. I try to maintain that experience. But from seeing it, do you know what it reminds me of so much? Voldemort and Harry Potter. When they're fighting and their wands are like meeting and they're like magicking each other, that's what it reminds me of.
I could see that.
Do you have any strong thoughts? Or weak thoughts, that's fine too.
I mean, so we have Velen kind of was, you know, he's not the main faction leader in the spotlight, so I'm excited that he has his moment, and I wonder if there will be a secret mythic phase, because Blizzard in several interviews was saying that they don't always do secret mythic phases, and it's not a mandatory thing, and like Blackhand didn't have one, but when there's a lore reason, like Illidan hanging out in the Gul'dan room, they tend to do like little extra phases and stuff. So when I see Velen there, I'm thinking, hey, like, you know, there's a lore reason he's fighting Kil'jaeden. Will he have a special phase? Like, will, you know, his past and like the special scenario with his son, like, will that play a role? You know, will other people from the Draenei or, you know, Eredar past appear in the phase? Like, you know, like the blood, you know, Death Knight artifact appear, you know, Thalkiel that's always going on about, you know, Kil'jaeden and the demons, like, will they do special things there?
Yeah, I was excited to see Velen in a fight anyways, because we've seen him a little bit here and there throughout the expansion. You know, he's clearly like a heavy hitter in all of this, but I don't know that we've actually fought like beside him anytime recently.
Right. I mean, he had that role in Alliance Warlords, but, you know, is it even a spoiler at this point? Anyway, like, he had a major role at the very start of it, but he wasn't really in that expansion.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe he'll finally have his moment to shine, and we'll learn some more stuff about him.
Yeah. So back to learning, haha, that transition. Yeah. So currently, Method is doing Tomb Q&A guides, correct?
So they have like they have a Twitch desktop server, because, you know, they're all Twitch streamers, and they're going to be doing Q&As and like giving advice on different raids and like how they're preparing or what spec they think will be the best, or, you know, their thoughts on the bosses. And they started them today. They'll be doing them for 10 days, and they'll be giving out Wowhead premium codes here and there. So that's pretty cool. And on Wowhead proper, we also have the Tomb loot guide is now up, and we have a beginning raiding guide that we'll be promoting more. And, you know, we're still, you know, going ahead and doing like the video previews with Fat Boss and having them do the detailed guides. So, you know, we're super excited that we're, you know, like helping a bunch of people out. And, you know, even our recent work we've done with Warcraft Vlogs, we're just happy that we're, you know, trying to help out the raiding community and feeling a part of it.
Yeah, I feel like Blizzard's been really into the raiding community lately too, because we've had all these interviews lately with Morgan Day, who's the lead encounter designer, and he hasn't been doing like big fan sites or anything. He was like, he interviewed with Slootbag, he interviewed with a couple other streamers. So I always like to see that, like how they kind of spread that information around in that way, especially when they're all interviewing the same person, because so often in the past what they've done is split up the dev team with different streamers, and everybody's getting a little bit different information because they're getting a different person's perspective. Whereas if you're interviewing all the same people, you can kind of build off of the questions that other streamers have asked. What do you think is like some of the juiciest bits that we got from those?
So this is kind of a silly thing. So we learned that Tomb is non-linear at the start, and we learned that the juicy funny thing is that we learned that there is an evil elevator boss,
of course,
between bosses 7 and 8. So you might die.
Me personally. Yeah. Great. Thanks, Perk. Thanks for that. Thanks for that vote of confidence. I appreciate that. Gosh.
On one of the streams, on Slootbag's stream, he actually reached out to Wowhead in advance and was like, do you guys have any questions? So my question for his interview was, is there a mount for Kil'jaeden? Because we haven't seen anything on the PTR yet. And the glory of the Tomb Raider reward is something called armaments. You know, what are armaments? And, you know, what's up with maybe moving away from mounts? And Blizzard said that the glory reward is, it's some sort of transmog reward. He wouldn't say exactly what it was. And that they don't have anything against mounts.
Is weapon, right?
Yeah, and we
Usually,
data mined some
interesting.
boss weapons a while back, so maybe you can transmog to the boss weapons. We're not sure. And he wasn't. I asked if the KJ mount was a secret, and he was like, "Oh, he's like, I'm just the designer. Like, I don't really know, but I feel like on Mythic they'd have to give you something special. Whether if they don't have a mount, then it has to be something else.
Yeah, it's got to
Or
be
maybe they
something
wanna keep
good
it a
and
secret.
flashy too. So it's like if it is transmog or if it is like a transmog weapon, like it's going to be really cool. Like it's not going to be lame. It's going to be really, really cool. I hope it's not lame. But it is definitely interesting that they're moving away from mounts, and kind of upsetting. I feel like I was just complaining last week that I thought every raid should have a mount. And now they're like, oh, a huge raid. It's like, how many bosses are in Tomb? 10? 9?
Yeah, there's 9 bosses.
9 bosses, no mount. What the heck? What
Yeah,
the heck?
and Nighthawk was very mount-centric, I felt, because it had, like, the flappy Mana Saber, Arcanist Mana Saber, and then Gul'dan had 2 things. There is a mount from the Naga boss, Mistress Sazine.
Yeah.
I think it's just a drop, though, but, we'll see.
That's good, though. At least there is a mount.
Yeah. Also, the other interesting thing was that they were really excited in both interviews about this new tech that they're trying out, making its debut on Kill Jaden, and apparently there will be this darkness phase where you can't really see, and you have to ask Velen and Illidan for help, and apparently the tech makes it very dramatic and interactive and very cool. So, no pressure, but Blizzard is releasing this new technology on the final boss, so hopefully it all goes well.
Yeah, well, and I feel like, in my experience with Blizzard anyways, a lot of times they'll release new tech, and maybe it's not fantastic in its, like, infant alpha form, but, an expansion down the road, we see that same technology applied in a really, like, thoughtful way. And so I just urge everyone to keep in mind, if for whatever reason you don't like the new tech that comes out, keep in mind that those are building blocks that can be used in the future that can really improve the way the game plays. It's not necessarily about that specific encounter, but anytime they're adding new tech to the game, I think is fantastic.
Yeah, they also said that in Gul'dan they used some new tech, like between the transitions or when like things break and explode. So I think people generally thought that encounter felt pretty immersive and epic. So looking forward to seeing whatever this darkness thing is.
Yeah, I mean, normally people don't call Gul'dan Gul Daddy because they hate him. Did we have anything else that we needed to talk about regarding Tomb before we move on to pickpocketing? Because the pickpocketing is very cool. I'm excited.
I think we're pretty good with Tomb. Just a reminder, I think Kitsuki just pinged me right before the show that Fat Boss sent over their first, like, in-depth guide for us. So, we'll be getting those up shortly, and we've been trying to do more raid coverage this tier on the front page. Like, we've been doing, like, boss previews and not just waiting for the guide. So if you'd like us to expand our raid coverage or, do a different type of guide, let us know, and we'll try to make it happen for 725.
Yeah, so on to pickpocketing. I think this is really cool, and I have a picture of this so everybody can see what it is, and I know you're a rogue, so you're probably even more excited. But there's a lot of new stuff for pickpocketing in 7.25. There's a new currency called Coin of Air. And do you want to talk a little bit about this? Because you're a rogue, I feel like you know a little more than I do.
Yeah, I actually spent all of my Sunday pickpocketing to do the quest because it took a while.
Amazing.
Basically, you go to your class hall, and Grifta's there along with this genie, and you get the magical lamp, and you polish it, and the genie wants to help you, and then you can go out in Legion and pickpocket Broken Isles mobs for special trinkets. And what's a really good quality of life increase is that looting the item instantly turns it into the currency, so you don't have to, if you played in Warlords, you had to, like, collect all the trinkets for Grifta, and then go to Grifta, and then he'd clear out your bags and get your currency, like all that's consolidated. So different trinkets give you different amounts of coins, and you can turn in coins to get 5k gold per week. After you loot the super rare trinkets, you get an upgraded lamp, so you get coins even faster. And the cool thing about coins is that you can turn them in for 5,000 gold as a weekly quest. And you can buy some pets and toys for Coins of Air, specifically a sneaky marmot, which is in stealth, and a dig rat, the barrel of bandanas, and an updated version called the barrel of eye patches. And you just click on it, and you get, one of the random eye patches in the game, and your friends can use that too.
That's super cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. I had fun with this. I think I can't like stress enough how cool it is that you just pickpocket the mob and you get the currency and you have no backspace drama. That's really amazing.
Yeah, that's super nice. Anytime that they add something as currency rather than adding it as something that you have to stack in your bags, it's super nice. This is unrelated, but it made me think of it because Rogue, there's like pickpocketing stuff that you can get and you get pets. So the other day I was walking around Dalaran and I decided to check how many pet badges I have because I always do the pet battles and never turn them in, and I totally had enough to get the pet mirror.
Yeah.
So I walked around as a giraffe for an hour, just feeling really good about myself.
Aww,
and it'll be amazing if somebody has that and they're a rogue, because then they can be a sneaky, stealthy marmot.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm also kind of bummed because we don't have a regular rogue in our raid group, and who's going to give us a barrel of eye patches?
Oh, well,
I know.
I'm Alliance, but I mean,
yeah, no,
I have the eye patch on.
You aren't welcome here. Perk does play Alliance. Although you would be playing on your Demon Hunter anyways, even if you were, right? She's kind of your main this expansion.
Yeah, she is right now. But I mean, like, they're blood elves and like they're so different from night elves, and I don't know.
So I'm sorry I suggested anything. Goodness. Let's move on a little bit. The PvP brawl this week is South Shore versus Terran Mill. Of course, this is a throwback from the anniversary of World of Warcraft, and it's a 40v40 BG that is it 150 points? Like, is it a point per kill?
Yeah, it used to be that if you had a higher rank, you were worth more points, but that was leading to weird gameplay, you know, like you would just target the person that had a higher rank and things would end quickly. So it's essentially 150 kills. The longer you stay alive and kill players, you rank up and you do more damage. And this battleground, like, so I tried it out and I had a 20 versus 40 battleground, and then my second one was like 5 versus 7. So I think Blizzard is saying they're going to hotfix this, but they have to wait where it's not peak hours so bad things don't happen.
Yeah.
But if you do finish the brawl, you should pick up the quest. It's called something different because you get a ton of artifact power.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah. I guess my tips, so I mean, I had 2 really bad brawls, but I would say, you know, instead of just fighting in the middle of the road, if you can lure the enemy to your base, it's better because you have soldiers that will help you out, and you can, you know, like line of sight and bottleneck things, like, you know, you can all hide in the basement of the inn, and then, you know, the enemy team has to like run through all these small buildings, and you can CC and block them pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that this weekend because I had fun with South Shore versus Terran Mill back in the day, so I'm excited to do it again. I had heard that it was a little bit buggy, and I have been streaming a lot, and I just didn't want to stream something that was buggy and give people fuel for a fire of grouchiness. So
yeah.
So
one more note.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that. Yeah. So it's cool because like if you didn't play in Classic WoW or before Cataclysm, you probably have a very like, you're like, oh, Hillsbrad Foothills, it's very horde and there's plague stuff everywhere. But it's cool to go back because you know, South Shore used to be this, you know, Alliance base, and it's just neat to see how things were, you know, back in the old days, I guess.
The old days.
Yep.
Back in the old days. So that's not all that's going on right now, though. Of course, Withered Jim is the boss this week. If you haven't done it yet, you get 1,000 Order Hall resources for killing him, but especially if you're a healer, that Arcano Crystal everybody wants. It's just got so many stats on it. Like, my item level right now is 903.
I know.
903, and I'm using an 860 Arcano Crystal because it's better than any of, like, the 900, 910, 920 trinkets that I've gotten. It wouldn't have been better than the map that dropped the other day, but our paladin won the role.
Hopefully in 725 it won't be as good. Actually, that reminds me, since we're talking about loot, one interesting note is that from the interview and Warcraft Devs like an hour ago, the relinquished, what am I trying to say? The relinquished tokens will not give you higher, the base item level will not be higher in 725, so you shouldn't be hoarding your nether shards.
Oh.
And Blizzard clarified today that the new legendaries coming in 725 will not have a chance to be from the relinquished tokens.
That doesn't surprise me. I've been targeting the gloves for my shaman. I still haven't gotten them. I want them so bad. So it's like I'll go and I'll spend a day kind of farming them up and like go. I was super excited the other day because I went and I was like, okay, I'm only 600 away from a turn-in, so I'm going to go do my quest. And I did the gamble first. And I totally got like 2,500 shards, so I didn't have to do any quests to hand in. But then I just got PvP gloves. But still, it was exciting. So I'm glad to hear that the new legendaries and the good gear isn't going to drop off of because that's not the intended purpose at all. That's supposed to help you catch up, not get ahead. There's a difference. Right. So, also coming June 6th, which is just a couple days away, you will be able to possibly obtain your class mount. Now, I have a video if you guys want to see this from a while ago. You've probably seen it. I'll turn the music down so that we can talk during it. But this is a video of all of the class mounts that are coming in 7.2.5. Now, this, the quest that'll come out on June 6th will require you to complete some missions on the Broken Shore, and they'll have
Slight typo there. The quest this week is to do the mission, so don't delay. Like, you should get that out of the way so you're not blocked.
Gotcha. Is there anything special about it?
Well, so it's not just do any missions. It's something that's called Broken Shore missions, and those tend to be higher item level than the rest. So, you know, if you're an alt and if you don't really care about followers, like you should be like making sure your followers are 110 and that they have a decent item level so you can complete them. Yeah. And if you're like, what is a Broken Shore mission? There's like a very faint graphic on the missions that set them apart. And if you open up the mission UI, the location of the mission has to say Broken Shore.
Gotcha.
So, you know, like if you put that off until next week and then you have like a 24-hour Broken Shore mission, you have to do that before you can do the class mount stuff. So, you know, just get all that out of the way. Missions are kind of time consuming.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what do you do next week? Like if you're ready now, like let's say you've got power ascended, you're caught up on your artifact, you have done your Broken Shore missions. Is it automatic, or are you going to have to do something?
Yeah. So when you finish, I think there's one more thing you have to do on the Broken Shore, like kill mobs or something. Blizzard's keeping it a secret. And then when that's done, you go back to your class hall. You get a special quest to get the mount, and it's very easy. You don't have to like, you know, do world quests or do a dungeon. It's just like this little like one-person scenario, and then you are rewarded with the class mount at the end. And the interesting part is that if you have reached power ascended on a specific artifact after acquiring the class mount, you can then purchase some rewards for 1,000 order hall resources. And we've talked about this in the past. It's not really consistent between classes. But for example, if you have the mount on your Death Knight and your blood artifact weapon is at power ascended, you can buy a red whelpling. And then there's like a similar thing for the frost whelpling and then the unholy whelpling. Demon hunters get a Pepe toy. If you get the beast mastery hunter artifact up, you get an ability that lets you tame feather mains on any hunter spec, but if you like the marksmanship artifact, it's a different mount. So there's a bunch of things. Not all classes get something special, but most of them do.
Cool though. Like mages get a little mount that their pets can ride that looks like their mount.
Yeah, it's so cute. Yeah. Monks have a matching pet for their mount, and monks only have one tint, but the mount like has expressions and talk, so I guess that's meant to be cool. Paladins have mounts for every power ascended spec. Priests have nothing, but the mount changes color.
Priests get nothing.
Rogues have a mount for every spec.
And they have a pet called Crackers, right?
Yeah, it's not for power ascended though. It's I think when you do the part before that, but that's still cool.
Still cool.
You know, rogues are the best.
Oh my gosh.
Shamans have nothing, and they have the totem, which I know you have feelings about, and the totem changes color based on what spec you are.
Like, okay, so the totem is cool. And we did get the little white wolf, so I can't complain too much because he was super easy to get. But I still have an ethical dilemma about saddling up my friends and riding them around like a horse. It just seems wrong. I know that some elementals are into that. I'm not elemental shaming. I'm just saying, like, if it took the form of a bird or a wolf or something, I don't think it would bother me so much. But it's the same little guy who's fighting next to me, just giant. I don't know. It's not how we treat our friends. Elementals are friends, not cars.
So for warlocks, there's just one mount that all specs get.
Wait, I feel like I should back up and just mention though that what's cool about shamans is that my mount will change no matter what spec I'm in. Like if I'm right, whereas like a lot of the classes, they just have 3 separate mounts as opposed to like a shaman where it kind of sucks because it's only one mount in your book, but my mount will respec with me. Whereas a lot of other classes, their mount doesn't do that.
Yeah, like so for example, the paladin one, like it has one color, but then if you want like the purple one, you have to go grind out a specific artifact.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons to both.
I'm trying to look on the bright side.
Yeah. But yeah, so for warlocks, they just get one color, but then if they get power ascended, there's a different color. And apparently, a third color is from Lord Helnerath, who is a rare on the Broken Shore. And he sounds familiar because he was part of the original Warlock Mount quest line.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. Like he got kind of rezzed on the Broken Shore, and now he's got another mount for everyone.
I feel like you made a point to me. I was really upset about everybody having different things, and you made a point to me that like back in the day, like warlocks had a quest that nobody else had, and shaman had a quest to get their totems going ahead, and paladins did that, and then they kind of homogenized everything, and that didn't necessarily make people happy. And so like honestly, I've taken a step back, I've eaten my words a little bit, and like it's okay that it's not equal and that everybody's kind of doing different things, because individuality is what makes life flavorful.
Aw. Well, yeah, that is what I think, and hopefully with how artifact knowledge works, it should be kind of easy for people to get power ascended at artifact knowledge 40 if they want to, you know, play an alt just to get like the Death Knight Death Knight pets or collectible things. So hopefully it works out. You know, I think it's cool that every spec has this lore-filled quest line that culminates in something cool for them. I remember asking in BlizzCon in Cataclysm, I was like, oh, can you guys do more, you know, class quest lines? And I was interviewing Dave Kosak, and he's like, oh yeah, we're always thinking about that. I can't promise you, but I hope we do it again. So I think
you know, I don't think we'll see it again in this capacity for a very long time though, because they went from, you know, 7.2, 7.25 is like the most content ever, but then like perspective of a player, it feels like less content than usual because we don't have access to 11 of those contents. So I think that this is going to be one of those examples of checks and balances, you know, like I hope that they do continue to do some class specific stuff, but just not quite as much.
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So just as a reminder, that is June 6th that you can get your class mount if you have been keeping up on your Broken Shore quest lines and whatnot. And 7.25 will likely, probably, maybe be on June 13th, which is also the end of this PvP season, because Tomb of Sargeras comes out on the 20th. So like Perk said, it's pretty unlikely that they would stack a patch and a raid at the same time. And it's also not going to happen like tomorrow. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's also not going to happen like tomorrow, though, because they're not going to change class things before the end of the PvP season. So it's likely that those events are going to coincide with each other.
Yeah. So I just wanted to address one of the questions I saw in chat quickly.
Okay.
Usually we save them to the end, but this just seemed relevant.
Sure.
So you just have to do the Breaching the Tomb achievement to get the class mount. And you don't need power ascended to get your class mount. You need Concordance of the Legion Fall on specific artifacts if you want an additional mount or toy or whatever is the unique thing for your class. Mm-hmm. But for the baseline mount, you just have to do Breaching the Tomb on your level 110.
Yep, that's the thing. What else is going on? Okay, so moving on from live news and PTR news, the Wowhead redesign is scheduled to go live next week, which, reminder guys, let me take a look over here. I have a thing. It is right there. This is what Wowhead is going to look like possibly next week.
Yeah, we actually were going to put it live on Thursday, but we got some more good feedback, and we were doing some, you know, behind the scenes things, which we decided to delay it. We really appreciate all the feedback people have given us. We've had a lot of positive feedback, more than the other time we redid the front page, so that's kind of cool. And we actually made some improvements, which you'll see on Tuesday. So today in Broken Isles, for example, we'll have a 7.25 PTR section We'll add archaeology, and we'll also have a little current content section, because something we realized, I realized as I was, using the new front page, is that the feature boxes right now take up a lot of space, but it's really cool that you can just click on like all legendary items or all class changes. And that sort of stuff wasn't easy to find on the new front page. So that's why we're adding a little 725 section to the top of Today in Broken Isles. And it should be equally easy to find and take up less space. And I have more flexibility to, put more stuff in Today in Broken Isles now. So for example, if the Violet Hold bosses take forever to show up, I can just like edit the Violet Hold bosses onto Today in Broken Isles, which I think people will appreciate.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a really, I love that Wowhead spends so much, time and care, like seeing people's feedback, because the site design launch was delayed based on everyone's feedback. And so just so everybody knows, this is very much appreciated when you guys do take the time to do those surveys and stuff like that, because and look at that, good feedback, it's happening, and then that's the thing. So yeah, thank you so much to everybody who participated in the survey, and thank you for helping to make Wowhead just a little bit better than it was before.
Yeah, we also learned a lot about what people wanted to see more on Wowhead based on the survey. So we've been actually making some guide styling improvements and have some new rounds of guides we'll be doing in the next month. And because the new layout features more stuff on the front page, we might be feeling like, hey, we've got time to do more community spotlights. And maybe, I think we'll even start today doing like weekly Blizzard roundups, because there's been so much news with other games. And we learned from our survey that, more than half of Wowhead's audience is actively playing other Blizzard games. So we feel like, we might as well highlight, what's going on in Diablo, or like a new hero now and then.
Genuinely
like
surprised it's only 50%. Honestly.
Yeah. It was a little bit more, but I feel like WoW, it has this unique thing of like the people that are playing WoW, every day, and maybe people that play other Blizzard games aren't as like devoted to WoW.
Or Wowhead.
So, yeah.
That might be it too. But I was wicked excited when you were talking about that last week, about Wowhead moving to feature a little bit more of other Blizzard games on a more general level, because that's a direction I've recently taken myself. So I, of course, am hopping on that bandwagon while it's still parked.
Yep.
Because there's always so much exciting stuff. Overwatch, of course. Now I'm going to go off on a tangent here for a second. But Overwatch, of course, the PTR just updated, and there's a whole brand new map, and it's a standard map that's going to be in ranked, and it's so cool. You're, like, on the moon, and you can go outside, and the gravity is different once you get outside, so you're, like, floating around. It's amazing. And they've made all these, like, hints at a new hero that's coming, and I kind of think it's going to be a raccoon. A lot of people think that the new hero is going to be, like, a baby monkey or a chimpanzee, but I kind of think it's going to be like Rocket Raccoon, like a genetically enhanced raccoon. That's maybe just what I want so badly. I just don't want it to be a chimpanzee, because that's my biggest fear. My biggest fear in life is chimpanzees.
Oh no,
they're terrifying. They're strong as 5 men. Ah. Anyways, so I'm excited.
Wonder when like Pepe would make his way to other games.
Oh my gosh,
like
what if
Diablo?
Pepe? It would be terrible though, because if Pepe was the new hero, that would mean he was like a genetically modified Pepe. You don't want that.
I know. And then it's like, what happens? I don't want like Pepe to be hurt. That would be
He'd
bad.
have like beefy wings. You even
you can sit on your head and like mind control the enemy into walls or off cliffs.
So good. His abilities would be like super peck.
Exactly.
So good. So good. So I'm excited to see a little more of other Blizzard stuff. On top of that, Wowhead has also been featuring some new stuff like artists. This week, Estrella Obscura was featured, and I have a little slideshow of her work. She actually did some giveaways for me for St. Jude Play Live, but she makes these really cool, like, paper crafts.
Yeah, she does awesome stuff.
They're cool, too, because she does, like, LED lights behind them, so they're awesome.
Yeah, so Katsuki has started up a monthly series for the artist community spotlight, and we get in the spotlight, we're highlighting how the person got into the industry and any tips and how they had their unique craft. And she's a really cool story because, like paper crafts, it's a really cool, unique type of media. And there's also a giveaway attached to it. So you could enter to win a class crest, race crest, or Overwatch crest, or a $70 gift certificate. And because the contest is limited to U.S. Residents only, she also has a generous discount code for international shipping. So I'm really excited about this, and I know I think Katsuki has like a lineup of some other people she's gonna feature in upcoming months that do a variety of different media for art. So I love stuff like this.
I love that we started off featuring someone who isn't doing like a traditional medium. Like so often in the community, because we're online, you see a lot of digital art, wallpapers and badges and stuff like that. And that's certainly not to diminish that, because that is hard work as well. But to see something that's unique like this that you just don't see everywhere, and they're so highly detailed. She gave me 3 of these, I believe, or two to give away during St. Jude Play Live. And one was like one of the large pieces, like the dragon head, and the other one was a smaller piece. They're really not small, but a smaller piece, like these class crests that you see. And I used all RNG to figure out who the winners were, and it was actually a girl that I knew who had donated to St. Jude who ended up being pulled as the random winner, and she was so excited to get it. She picked out the Warlock crest, and she like debated for 2 days whether or not she wanted to get red lights or purple lights behind it, because they look so cool lit up from the back. I want to get one for the back so you can see it in my videos. I just can't decide which one I want.
Yeah, I like She's different options. I think the Warlock one has the fell variant as well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
I know
super cool.
In the interview she was talking about doing artifact weapons soon, so that would be awesome as well.
Oh yeah, that would be
super
cool.
One with the flames, I would love to have that one.
Yeah, or like even if she did like really iconic weapons like Warglaves or Ashbringer or you know, the Lionheart Executioner or Frostmourne and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, super cool. And then also we have a new novel lore article coming up. Is that Sunday?
Yep, that's Sunday, our monthly novel lore article. If you like various like secrets and discoveries in Legion, you will like this lore feature.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Then, like I said earlier in the show, and I'm not sure if this was before the show started or during the show, but we do have a new emote set. I just double-checked to make sure, and they are submitted on Twitch. We're just waiting for the approval process. It takes a couple days. But we do have 3 new emotes. These are made by Draskia on Twitter. She's amazing. And we opted for a Leroy Jenkins, as well as special emotes for our $9.99 and $24.99 subscribers. $9.99 and $24.99 subscribers will be able to use Prince Pepe, which is Pepe with a silver crown and blue jewels, and $24.99 subscribers will be able to use King Pepe wearing a bigger crown that's gold with red jewels. So thank you so much to Draskia for making these. And also, if you are on Twitch and you're looking for someone to make emotes, her turnaround time is crazy. She had these to us like the next day. So she was wonderful to work with. And they're so cute. Yeah. They're so cute. So thank you so much, Draskia.
And if you're in Wowhead's Discord, the emotes are there as well for anyone to use, I think.
Yep, anyone can use them in the Wowhead Discord. And if you have Discord Nitro, you can use them on any server.
Yep.
Yep, so that's what's going on the emote front. I think right now we're about 9 subscribers away from another new emote, which, like I said, our next emote is going to be Gammon. The only better thing is if we could make it so every time someone used it, it was like, Gammon! But I think we're about 9 subscribers away from that, so this is the obligatory time to remind you, if you are subscribed to Wowhead on Twitch using Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime, you do have to manually resubscribe every month. So please, if you would like to continue to support us there, that is the best way to do that. You can do !subscribe in chat to get all of the information on how to subscribe, whether you want to subscribe through, regular method, Twitch Prime, or if you want to do $9.99 or $24.99. And of course, all of that is directly supporting us here at Wowhead. So thank you so much to all of our active subscribers, as well as our subscribers to Wowhead Premium and whatnot, which we'll talk about in a little while. But yeah, thank you so much to all of our Twitch subscribers. As far as our merchandise codes for the week, this will be the last call as well for any questions that you guys have, or if you guys have any, this is like last call on the giveaway. So yes, this is last call on questions and giveaways, but we do still have some discounts going through our friends over at Jinx and the Blizzard Gear Shop. Now, I know you're going to see this Jinx code and you're going to be like, but Panzer, that says May 31st, but it actually does go through the end of June. You can get 20% off of all Blizzard products the month of June with code WOWHEAD at jinx.com. Also, I want to take a moment to thank Jinx for providing me with a bunch bunch of codes that I could give away during St. Jude Play Live this year. They were very generous, and I really, really appreciate it. Once again, that is code WOWHEAD at checkout at jinx.com, and that's 20% off of any Blizzard products, and they have a lot of stuff. And what's nice about that is I believe that new Diva hoodie is coming out in the month of June. So if that was something you were looking at...
the Diva hoodie is earlier than the other one.
Yeah, the Diva hoodie comes out way earlier than the other ones. So if that's something you were thinking about, you might want to hold off on your order, because you might be able to get 20% off using code WOWHEAD at jinx.com for the month of June. Secondly, or lastly, whatever, Blizzard Gear Shop was kind enough to give us a new code this month. It is code WOWHEAD June, and this will give you a free Funko Pop miniature keychain for every order of $15 or more. And these are super cool. There's a Murloc, there's Arthas. I do think there are a couple other ones, but the Murloc is, like, in my opinion, best one.
Yeah.
Murloc Pop is best pop.
So, you know, if you like pops, you know, get one to use and one to hold on to.
Yep.
They're a little bit discounted now in the Blizzard Gear Shop, so I don't know if that means that they're going to be, you know, clearance and they won't make anymore. So, you know, pick that up now.
It is also worth noting that is per transaction. So if you're buying a couple things and you're utilizing free shipping anyways, it would be worth breaking up your order so that you could get a couple keychains, just saying. And these are cool too, because you can open up the jump rings if you want to put them on shelves and display them without the key rings. You can just open up the jump ring and then they look just like miniature pops. So that is code WOWHEAD June on the Blizzard Gear Shop. That is any order of $15 or more. Anything on the site. And don't forget, they did just come out with a whole mess of new Summer Gear Shop stuff, as well as all of the new Overwatch pops. So yeah, code WOWHEAD June for 15 at checkout. Yeah, well, not only that, but there's Squirky too. Hold on, I think I have a video of Squirky. I don't. I lied. I don't have it up there.
Wait, I have him right here.
I got him on stream the last day of St. Jude. Me and my sister got Squirky. Yep. And,
oh, nice.
And new Traveler Pepe. So yeah. That's what's going on there. Also, a reminder, you can now gift Wowhead Premium if that is something that you would like to do. Wowhead Premium is a monthly subscription to Wowhead. It is $1 per month or $9 if you buy the whole year, and it removes all of the ads from Wowhead desktop and mobile as long as you're signed in. It allows you to track quests. It allows you to customize your Today on the Broken Isles. But of course, the biggest benefit is that it directly supports Wowhead and its content creators. So thank you so much to all of our Wowhead Premium subscribers. Thank you to everybody who has purchased Wowhead Premium as a gift for a friend or a guildie or whatever. And there are a bunch of giveaways going out right now on a bunch of different streamers and YouTubers and whatnot.
Some other sites too.
Yep. And if you're if one of your favorite streamers or YouTubers is not running a giveaway actively right now, reach out to Wowhead, because maybe we can make that happen.
Yeah, I still have a few more left. You know, I've just been asking on Twitter if anyone wants them.
I gave away 3 without actually asking you for codes. I'm sorry. I'm a bad friend. I'm a bad friend. I'm a bad video person, but I totally need 3 codes. I gave them away without consulting you. My bad.
Giving them away to different raid guilds. It's not like, oh, we gave them away to like this podcast, so we can't give them to yours. Like, you know, just message us and we'll send some codes over. And, you know, we'd be happy if you've already given some away and people were super excited about it. We can maybe give you some more. So, you know, just reach out to us. We're happy to do that.
Yeah. Also, I want to just take a second before we get into questions to thank everybody here in chat that has been supporting St. Jude Play Live this past month. If you guys don't know, I spent the entire month pretty much fundraising for St. Jude. I made like 2 videos the whole month. I'm a garbage YouTuber. I've just been focusing on streaming, and our team actually took first place this year in both the individual and the group categories. My audience was awesome and came together to raise almost $64,000, maybe a little more than 64. The numbers have been kind of updating all day because they've been pushing through donations that got lost in translation on one specific day. So I believe we're at about 64,000, and then Derp Squad as a whole is over $100,000 raised in just 1 month. So and just to be clear, thank you so much to everybody who streamed, anybody on anywhere on the leaderboards. We all came together and raised almost $1 million in a month. So it's really amazing to see what everybody was able to do when they came together. So yeah, that's
And
all.
your team, like, it also hit the 250K milestone too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's
When
really awesome.
when we hit 90,000, that officially put us over $250,000 raised for St. Jude
That's
since
awesome.
the beginning of
That's
the
so
event.
cool.
I can't even believe it. It's like one of my friends. He sent me a message on Discord that was really nice. He said he works at a bank, and his bank it's the biggest bank in San Diego, and they have like 250 employees, and they have like thousands of customers, and they have something like billions of dollars in assets, and they ran a month-long campaign to raise money, and between all of those people they raised $25,000. And he said the perspective of how much my team was able to raise in the same amount of time with such little resources, you know what I mean? Like all of us were just sitting at our computers streaming. I mean, even the gifts and the prizes and stuff that we gave away weren't really extravagant, you know. Everybody who came together to donate were donating because it was such an amazing cause, and because it was a fun thing to participate in, and it was awesome to be a part of. And thank you so much to everybody who streamed, who shared the stream, who donated, who lurked in chat, who provided prizes, who modded the streams. I mean, it was everybody coming together that really made it happen. It wasn't all just about a streamer or somebody who donated, or it was the whole community coming together to really accomplish something major. We had the biggest Play Live year ever. This is the 4th year of Play Live, and awesome. We almost raised $1 million. It was very close to. It was like 900, and I want to say like 60,000 or something like that. We were super close to raising $1 million. So, yeah, it's just an awesome thing to be a part of. Yeah, Sass streamed with me the last day for like 8 hours, and he was hilarious. He was a blast. So yeah, thank you so much to everybody. If I didn't say thank you, so now we will take viewer questions and wrap up the stream.
So before the questions, congrats to the winner in Spersia, who you have won the World of Warcraft Chronicle.
Ooh, that's a good
volume.
prize. That's a solid prize.
You can learn all about Gul'dan and what's going on in the Broken Isles and what's up in Tomb, and you know all this Legion lore. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Crouching Tiger 168 says, is Blizzard planning to allow alts to skip the 7.2 Broken Shore scenario, getting tedious to do on multiple alts?
I thought that was something you could skip a while ago.
I think so. I think he's referring to the quest where you actually have to like fly around the Broken Shore when you're 110.
Oh.
I don't think Blizzard's going to change that, because like that's hard coded in as the very first part of the Breaching the Tomb quest line.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to be like, okay, you know, you have to do this if you want your class mount. So I don't think they're going to skip that. Stonebridge said, do you think Trial of Style is a weekly event or a micro holiday because it's reward? I don't think it was ever marked in the data as a micro holiday. I believe it was a weekly event, especially because the currency is called like weekly MOG token, or like something very explicitly weekly. I know the rewards are not,
and
everyone
there's
doesn't
also
love them.
So many themes. There's no way that they would be able to get through all of those in a micro holiday. It would take like 12 years.
Right. We did, as a side note about Trial of Style, this past PTR build added a bunch of items related to the looks we previously data mined. So it's pretty much confirmed the ensemble rewards for Trial of Style for the MOG tokens. Like, they weren't placeholders. We're actually just getting like the old Burning Crusade gear as ensembles. So I know some people were like, oh, this is boring, but you know, it's cool that you can get all pieces for a set at once. And you know, maybe a new person that's started playing in Warlords doesn't know what Burning Crusade is, and now they have a new cool set.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny because I saw, on that same topic, I saw somebody talking on Twitter the other day about how for Chromie, for the Deaths of Chromie, the transmog that's giving out is like not new and unique, and the person was like, oh, a lot of people already have this. And it made me wonder, like, the data behind the scenes of, you know, how many people currently played in Vanilla, how many people currently played in Burning Crusade, and then of those people who did play, how many people actually do have that? Because, you know, as someone who has played that whole time, you think, oh, that's old, who cares, like, we already have that. But like, truthfully, I was very curious as to how many people actually have that, because I have to think that they would take that type of data into consideration when they did stuff like that.
And even the Chromie says it's not identical, it's a new tint. So maybe if you didn't want the whole set, or you already have the silhouette in a different color, you know, maybe the shoulders are now the perfect color for, you know, a mishmash set. You know, they're like bronze themes. So maybe you can mix and match and at least have use out of a few items, because people that care about transmog don't want to, just throw on a set. They like being creative, so maybe you'll get something new to accessorize with.
Yeah.
CH4.
Oh, Shandy.
Shandy. Yeah. Is there a date announced for 725 yet, or just Tomb of Sargeras? So they actually, Sloot wanted to ask if he could get a 725 date on his stream, and they said they wouldn't reveal that. But as we discussed, we think it's likely that the 13th is it, because the 6th is way too soon. Like, there's been no announcement. Like, there's no patch notes. Well, Blizzard sometimes delays their patch notes, but that's a separate thing. But it's, we were getting class mounts on the 6th. They're not going to be like taking the servers down and having crazy stuff happening when that's not even.
Yeah,
and
well,
the PvP
it's like we said, there's no way it'll be on the 6th because they wouldn't end a PvP season after a week of weird class changes. Like, that wouldn't be very fair. And it's also very unlikely that it would come out the same day as a raid. The only real curveball would be if they decided to like patch on a Friday or something. That's just, the only way.
Yeah, wouldn't that be crazy if they're like, oh, surprise, like we don't need to do Tuesday things anymore, like,
Tuesday is a dumb day. We're Thursday now. Tuesday is last week. So really, it'll be the 13th, pending they don't do something crazy like that.
Yep. And that's about it for questions on my end.
Well, that's good. So, I feel like we talked about a lot of topics. I feel like we did a good job today with keeping on task. And when I say we, I mean me. I tend to go off on tangents, and I'm trying really hard to not.
No, I'm glad that I could do the show and relax after we had issues where Europe couldn't connect to regular Wowhead for 18 hours, and our service provider was having a long time figuring out why, and we had like a 10-hour phone call or something horrible. So I'm glad that got resolved right before the show, and I can relax and
and just hang out and whatnot. But yeah, thank you guys all for coming and hanging out with us here live at twitch.tv/wowhead. We stream every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time, and then we upload that evening to youtube.com/wowhead and embed the next day at wowhead.com. Of course, thank you once again to all of our paid subscribers on Twitch, our $4.99, $9.99, and $24.99 sub tiers. Thank you so much to everybody who does that. Also, thank you to all of our Wowhead Premium members. Wowhead Premium, for those of you who do not know, is a monthly subscription to Wowhead, which removes all of the ads on desktop and mobile as long as you are signed in. Lets you customize your today on the Broken Isles. It lets you track quests. You get to talk in a different call in the forums, all sorts of stuff. But the big thing, of course, is that it supports Wowhead content directly. It is $1 a month or $9 a year. It can also be gifted to a friend or a guildie or whoever you would like to give it to. We are going to go. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Get caught up on your quests so that you can get your mount. Next time you see me, I will be a year older, not wiser.
Right, that's coming soon.
Yeah.
Actually, next week I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be in New York.
Just kidding. We're not going to be streaming next week. Just kidding. Just kidding. So our next stream will be on June 16th. Oh my God, the patch will be out.
Yeah, so that'd be fun.
What do you know? So next time we see you, 7.25 will be here. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Get caught up. Get your class mounts. Get ready for the patch because it's coming soon. We will see you next week, guys, on the 16th of June. And until then, have a good day and be good to each other and whatnot. We're going to go. Goodbye, guys. Bye.
Bye.